More Than a Nurse, the story of Kate Scott. Mary Catherine Kate Scott was born in Cambria County, PA in 1837, soon after moving to the suburbs of Brookville. Her father, John, worked at the offices of the Brookville Republican newspaper, where, as she grew into adulthood, Kate assisted him and learned the printing trade. She was employed there when the start of the Civil War happened in April of 1861. And upon finding out the man that was courting her was enlisted, Kate rushed to aid as a nurse and did so by the first winter of the conflict. She chose to volunteer at Camp Jamerson, Virginia, with the 105th Pennsylvania Regiment, which many Brookville men were enlisted in. In this time of the Civil War, Army camps were flooded with sick men suffering from fever, pneumonia, smallpox, and typhoid, but Kate was more than determined to help them regardless. However, her entry to the camp was not as smooth as one would expect. When Kate did not receive the money she was promised for her travel to Camp Jamerson and was denied allowance to pass on from Washington, Kate donned men's clothing and got to the camp on her own terms. Kate was caught quickly, but was warmly welcomed by future friend Colonel McKnight. Kate continued to serve as a nurse until the spring of the next year, returning to Brookville soon after. From there, she took up the task of serving in a different way, writing. Her most notable works include History of the 105th Regiment of Pennsylvania Volunteers and History of Jefferson County, Pennsylvania, in which the latter carries on her mother's past work of collecting a comprehensive history of the county they called home. Kate served in many different ways besides her written works, including the corresponding secretary of the 105th Regiment Association and of the Monumental Association of the 105th Pennsylvania Volunteers. She was also the deputy marshal of the Independent Order of Good Templars. Kate also worked with the Women's Relief Corps in Jefferson County, was involved in the establishment of Brookville Soldiers' Home, and was the postmistress at the Brookville Post Office. Related to her time in the Civil War, in 1879, she began to serve as the National Secretary for the Association of Army Nurses in the Civil War and worked there until her death in 1911.